Well, it's Sunday, and we're getting late into February here. As you can see, the snow came on Friday. We got, I don't know, 5-6 inches all in a very short period of time. It's been blowing around. Cold yesterday, it's cold today, and the wind is blowing, making it colder. So yesterday I went and saw Nick, Ohio MM. Uh-oh, gotta shut the alarm off. We got an alarm because you never know when Moline Dan's gonna come down and try to steal my signs. Anyway, went over yesterday to watch Nick, Ohio MM play a basketball game. It's about an hour and a half drive over there, an hour and a half drive back. So it was good to watch him play. Did a great job. He had a couple good assists. He just missed a basket. His brother Sam hit a couple baskets, so good time. But I came out and I messed with the lawn tractor when I got home, and I believe my solenoid is bad, and I was trying another solenoid. I think that solenoid is bad, and the starter is binding, so I'm going to mess with that a little bit. Then I got to go out to the car and get transfer pump so I can pump the diesel out of the tank today, and I can work on the bottom of it. Main thing I got to do is I got to get the heaters going in here because it's cold, and I'm going to try to take the steering cylinders off. I'm hoping I can do those by myself and get those taken out and get the rest of the lines off this thing and get them to fill. So that's the plan for today, but plan number one is get the truck out of here, get heat going, because it's cold in here. I don't know, saying it's around 25 in here. So that's we'll make a video and I'll show you. Hopefully we can get some things accomplished today. Well, I started over with the lawn tractor, got very frustrated with it. Need the solenoid. Moved over here. I had a pump in place to pump out the tank. That wasn't working, so I decided to use the petcock to do it. Discovered that my initial hole is here, and I got a bigger hole up there now, and I got it coming out of the petcock into buckets. So not very scientific, but it's just gonna have to do. I should probably just get a bucket under this hole back here rather than this drain pan. What a mess. So I'm going to keep draining this. Obviously water's coming from someplace because that's water on the floor. So I'm going to guess there was water in this. I was going to try to recycle this diesel, but I think what this diesel is going to end up being is maybe what I use for the burn pile. And a bunch of dirt came out of the petcock when I opened it up too, so good to know. What a pain. I had to get a couple rebites on with the gantry to get it lifted up where it needed to be. And yeah, what a mess. So after I get it drained, then I'm going to flip it back up, continue wire wheeling off the bottom around the sides there to see how many more holes there are. And then this will go to Oliver Phil along with all the hoses and everything else, because he's got a buddy that's a good welder who can patch up the tank. So I'm not going to bore you with watching this thing drain out because it's going to take a few minutes, but when we're done, then I'm going to crawl underneath and start looking what it's going to take off the wheel cylinders. Well, let me tell you a little story about what's not fun. I thought I had a good plan laid out in order to drain this tank, but as you can see how wet the floor is, all good plans fail every once in a while. So there's a huge pile of blue towels outside that I was mopping this up with, but I ran out to get another bucket, had to dump some fluid out of it. By the time I got back, the bucket was overflowing. and so thus the big mess. And yeah, this had more in it than I expected. It's yeah, it's been a few words exchanged between me and the diesel coming out of this. If this were gasoline, you'd be reading about, headline would be something like, dumb guy in Ohio blows himself up in his barn emptying a fuel tank. But being diesel, thank goodness I'm not blown up yet, but geez, what a pain in the butt. So getting the last little bit of it drained out, and then I was just looking over here because I'm afraid to walk away too far from the diesel draining, or else the next thing you know I'm gonna have another big puddle. But I just went and grabbed 1.5-inch wrench. It appears that that's what those are on either side there, but there's a cotter pin on the bottom side of it underneath. It's in a cradle also. And let me find my flashlight. We can go down there and check it out. Well, let me check my bucket first. I think we're good to go. Look, I don't think it's going to overflow in that amount of time. What a pain in the butt. This is not how I envisioned my Sunday going. I expected to have this stuff off by now, but anyway, there's the cylinder there. It goes back, bolts in that cradle. So I'm gonna guess on the top of that's another nut and a cotter pin. So I'm gonna have to somehow shove my head up in there and get that cotter pin out, and get a wrench on the top and on the bottom and spin that out in order to remove the cylinder. This is probably not going to be fun either, but it is. You can only do what you can do. I gotta get these off. So that's what it looks like down and underneath. I'm gonna roll out of here and try not to whack my head on anything. So what it should be is, this is what we're seeing on the bottom back there. So it should have a nut on the top with a cotter pin in it. And yeah, that's what we got going on there. This is not going to be fun, but I figure I better get my wheel cylinders loose, or the steering cylinders loose, so that, because when I start undoing lines above, it's going to be dripping down there, and I'd rather not take a bath in hydraulic fluid, kind of like I just did diesel fluid. Diesel fuel, not fluid. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna finish emptying out this tank, and then I'll try to tackle these steering cylinders. All right, just got the cotter pin out of this backside. It's kind of a pain, and I crawled underneath. Got some lights set up so y'all can see what I'm dealing with. But there you can see the end of the cotter pin here. Here's my problem is getting that thing out is not going to be fun, especially when I got two shoulders that don't like to bend a whole lot. So I'm going to work on trying to get that thing out, but I might need to get somebody here that's got better shoulders than I do to get up there and do it. The problem is there's a shelf just above it. You can't get it from above. You got to get it from the bottom. Of course, there's not enough room down here to maneuver, get your head up in there or sit up. It's just high enough you can't do that. And yeah, kind of a pain. So I'm gonna work on trying to get that out, but we'll see what happens here. All right, this side, the cotter pin broke off on both sides, so not much I can do about that. And I've kind of decided to get to the other end, I'm going to need somebody else, because I just can't get up in there. So I'm going to need somebody more nimble than I am, and see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to try to see if we can get these off. Well, that didn't go so bad. One nut down, washer. the nut back on there. When I get that bolt out, I'll clean out that hole. And that's loose. So that's all good. We'll go to the other side and get that one out. It's good to know that it came out that easy. Hopefully when we go to do the other end, we'll get somebody here, hopefully that goes well too. All right, we'll give this side a shot also. Came out. Washer. That one's already loose. So at least I got this side loosened up. Now I just got to do the other side. If you're hearing a little bit of defeat in my voice, it's just been a rough day. There's certain days that things just don't go as planned. The other thing I was going to comment on, Moline Dan said this one time. He's commented on the old clothes, and probably you notice my videos, I wear this old ratty Carhartt coat, and I wear Carhartt bibs all the time, and that's because I wash these things constantly because they get so nasty that my wife doesn't want to let me in the house. But yeah, rolling around on the ground out here and messing with diesel fuel, and I just, you know, barn shop clothes get shop dirty, and I like wearing the Carhartt bibs just because it keeps I don't ruin pants every other day. So all right, I had to make a decision here. So do I want to start taking steering lines, hydraulic lines off here? The only problem with doing that is it's going to make a mess, but I got to do it at some point. So I'm going to assess the situation and see how bad this is going to be if I start unhooking all these lines up here, how big a mess I'm going to make. And I also got to look at my wiring underneath the dash to make sure that when I start taking those off, how bad I'm going to mess up my wiring under the dash. All right, I think the tank finished dripping out, so I set it back up on the end so that I can get at the bottom of it at some point this week. Diesel that came out of it. Definitely got a couple holes over here. I'm sure there's more over there if I get on that with the wire wheel. I've got, it's just been a day, I tell you. So the steering, little lines that go to the steering up underneath the dash, I don't think I'm going to mess with today because they don't look that bad. I'm going to ask Oliver Phil's opinion. I know I said I was going to replace everything, but I don't know, I want his opinion. But one thing I can do is this supply line that goes up and supplies that comes down, runs along the engine, goes underneath, and goes into the front of the motor up there. I probably should have brought a flashlight, but it's underneath the pan there. It goes in the steering motor, so I can take that loose and let it start draining out. And then I can also potentially take this loose and let it start draining out also. If I can get a pan, I think I can get a pan down in there underneath it to catch a lot of that. So I'm going to try to do those two things so I can feel like I accomplished something today. This video is not going to be a very good video, I don't think, because all I'm doing is fumbling around like I don't know what I'm doing, and I've never done this before. Some days are like that though. I guess I'm sure some of you guys have that, where you're just like nothing's going your way. Started with the lawn tractor and the starter and taking the shield off this side and scratching up paint and just needing to walk away from it, to coming over here and messing with this and realizing I can't get to those front pins on the steering cylinders, to making a huge mess on the floor with the diesel fuel. Yeah, it's been a day. So I'm gonna work on taking these apart so I can drain some fluid out. All right, I got it loose. Let's see if I can get it off, get it draining without making too big of a mess. Just awkward with the camera now in the way. Can get up on my knees up under this part of the tractor, which makes it a little bit easier. And there she goes. And I figured there would be quite a bit in there. I don't know if I have a plug that big or not, but I'm gonna go look and try not to dip my head in that stream as I get out from underneath here, because that would be the topper for the day. And I'll be right back. Oh. All right, if you can see the yellow plug on up there, I keep a bunch of these hydraulics from when I painted, that's why they're yellow. And got one of those on, and now I'm looking at it. I might not do that big hose right now also, since I'm under here. And I did dip my shoulder underneath where the hydraulic fluid was streaming out. So cheers to me. Did exactly what I said I didn't want it to do, but what are you gonna do? So all right, I'm gonna try to get that other hose off too. All right, so I just got that one loose. It just keeps getting better and better, because as I got it loose, of course, I was pulling on it so hard I fell. And you know, some days that's just how your day goes. At least I hit the pan most of the way there. So this hose goes up to the, I believe, the hydraulic oil cooler. It goes up and through, and I'm pretty sure, we'll go look here in a minute, pretty sure where that's where that one goes to. And I think this is more of a supply line than a pressure line, and I think that this big dog right there is a supply line also, and it just goes, it's a short line, and that's the one that goes into the metal line. I don't think I have anything big enough. Of course, when I fell, I knocked over all of my plugs. Yeah, got one that fits. Bonus. That's a win for the day. I'm gonna take it. So everything else has not been going so great. So anyway, it goes up through, comes through right here, which they've wrapped, I don't know what they've wrapped around it, and goes up, and yeah, it goes into the cooler here. So yeah, I don't know, I gotta get this. They kind of, I mean, kudos to them. Every place that something was gonna rub, they put some kind of buffer. I know I saw some more on here because it's all over this thing, but like there. And so they didn't want to wear through the metal lines. The downside is that they just used whatever was handy and then wire or hose clamped it together, and it is what it is. I just got to deal with it. So I think that'll be can probably get this line all the way off. Just keep stepping on everything I knocked over when I fell. Get that line all the way off, get that hose clamp off. You can probably pull it down through that hole, so that would be one line done, and then I'll need to label that one so I know exactly where it goes. Well, before I take that hose the rest of the way off, I might as well take this big hose that goes from the back of the pump to there off and let it start draining. I think there's enough of a hole down through there, if you can see, that the fluid will go all the way through. I'm sure it'll create a big mess. I just had to wipe off the camera because there's so much hydraulic fluid on the camera. Get you guys set up so you can see what I'm going to do. Of course. And I'm right up against the bottom of the fuel filter, so I can't even get a good bite on it. Takes an 1.25 inch wrench. I gotta go see if I can find it. I couldn't find it, that's why I was using the crescent wrench. All right, found it. Oh boy. Oh, there she goes. Start to drip. Make sure I'm hitting my pan. Everything is soaked in hydraulic. Wonder why. Oh, and there she goes. And I'm hitting the pan. That's a good thing. So she can go ahead and run and drip out. If you don't know, I'm going to have to plug that side. Win. I'll take it. All right. So, all in all, that was not as terrible as I thought it would be. At least I got those lines draining. Now, see it running into my pan. Good to go. I'll worry about taking it off there later. So now I'm going to work on getting this whole apparatus squared away. All right, that was a real pain getting that, got the clamp off. This is the crap that was in there, and I don't know what it is. It's kind of a rubber, I don't know. Had to kind of wedge it out, but you know what a bad thing to do is to put a tight hose clamp on something that you need to get flow through, because can you see how it just necked down that line right there, just restricted it. So I don't know, I don't think that probably accomplished what Well, kept the hose from wearing out right there, but not sure it did much else. But so next thing I got to do is take this loose up here, if I can get light on it. And I'm gonna need 2 hands, and I'm shining the light in your eyes. So thought I had it loose, but it's a really hard thing to get in there because I got this line in the way, which I could take out of the way. It's turning. Come on, baby. Well, I'm gonna have to mess with that some more to get that one loose. No big deal. Just part of the fun, right? Part of the fun. All right, I gave up on getting that out today. I got to get that other line out of the way. It's supposed to spin on there. That fitting's froze. The whole hose wants to spin. Just another example of how my day is going. I did come back and I wire wheeled the bottom of the tank here, and definitely so. All right, and as the day goes, the battery died, so we're back. Had to go all the way up the house. Yeah, never mind, just my day. But definitely showing those are definitely holes, because that's where it was draining. There's another hole there, and I would say that some of these, if they're not, they will be. Came over here, I'm gonna guess that that will be. This doesn't look so good. Not so bad on this side, but some dark, deep pits in the middle. So the good thing is, other than, I guess, a couple spots through here, it looks like once you get around the corner, it's pretty solid on both sides. So maybe they can just piece in a new bottom. I don't know. As I have said, this is not my specialty, welding or fixing stuff like that. Not my wheelhouse. So it does look like there was a repair over here at some point in time. So anyway, Phil, I'll give that to Phil. Let them determine what's best to do with the tank. As long as it doesn't leak when I put it back on, I call that a win. So bottom line is, didn't get near as much accomplished today as I wanted, and everything fought me. And sometimes you just have days like that. Did have a good day yesterday, going to see Nick Ohio MM play basketball and his brother Sam. That was good. And did some other good things this weekend. So sometimes you just you just don't make the progress you think you're going to make. And I get frustrated, but I need to remember that this is fun. And I don't do this for a living, as many of you know. But I have a passion for the Molines, and I like working on them. And so when you have a frustrating day, you got to just check yourself a little bit and be like, yeah, it's all part of the game. I will say I had a good conversation this week. My buddy Craig that lives down in Southern Ohio, he kind of introduced me to another guy named Larry, who's a retired school teacher that lives down, Georgetown area. And he has a 1355, and we talked last year. He was having some issues, and then he messaged me this week, said he was still having some issues. It would only run a few seconds and then die, and had him put a mechanical fuel pump in the line, and that helped, and he's going to do some other things. So I think he's almost there getting that thing running. But in that conversation, he asked if I was interested in buying another tractor, which obviously I've got this thing sitting here and another one sitting without a motor in it, and the last thing I need is another tractor. But it's a U302, and you all know that I have a passion for those. So, and there's something special about it, which I'm going to hold off on talking more about that till hopefully here in a few weeks we'll go get it. He bought it, and he's just got too many other things going on, so he was nice enough to offer it to me, and it's going to be a little bit of a trip down there because I'm going to go from there to my uncle's, and it's going to have to live at my uncle's for a little bit because if I bring it up here, then I'll want to work on it, and I got to finish. Obviously, I have proven, don't start, don't have a project and then start another project, because then it just clutters everything up. So if I take it to my uncle's, then hopefully I won't get, I can finish this stuff up before I bring it home. And but I am going to bring the 55 UB that I have stored down there. It's not a special. I think there's other videos that when I got it, very nice, very straight, original. Can't believe how straight the thing is as far as the body work, all the knobs, levers, everything's there. So I'm gonna bring that home, just do a couple little things to it, and then I'm gonna sell it because something's got to go one of these days, and that's been sitting down there for a couple years. And I think it's just time I bring it up here and send it to somebody who is looking for a good UB to restore, or even show is all original. But if you look back, if anybody's interested, and I have one guy that's thinking about it, but I'll be posting it. I'll probably hear soon if he's not interested. If you want a really straight UB, we'll go from there. We'll see what he decides, and you got to send it. You got to send something down the road. So anyway, that's it for this video. This has kind of been a chopped up, screwy. I don't feel real good about this video just because I don't feel good about how the day went. But that's just me. And again, love the Molines. Got to just take a deep breath and be like, hey, I love these tractors. So we'll have another video coming soon. And hopefully I can get somebody to come over and help me take those wheel cylinders off. Steering cylinders off, and kind of get some more of this stuff in line for Oliver Phil so he can start on it, so we can get this thing start to get finished up. So if you got any comments, good, bad, ugly, throw them out there. I'm always interested to hear what you got to say. If you got anything that comments or anything, I'm always interested. So appreciate everybody watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll have more videos coming.